Aloha, Sherry Minor McNamara here. The Chamber's 1808 initiative is providing hope and inspiration to Hawaii's business community. It's a difficult time for all of us, but it's more important than ever to support and learn from each other. We are talking story with leaders of Hawaii's business community to learn more about how we are leading the way to economic recovery and adapting to this new normal. Joining us today is Lauren Zerbel, Executive Director of the Hawaii Food Industry Association. HFIA's mission is to actively promote the interests of Hawaii's food and beverage retailers and suppliers through highly effective government relations and advocacy, as well as member education and industry and community relations. So Lauren, thank you for your time.
Hi Sherry, how are you?
Okay, considering, right, we're all in this similar situation.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us. We've known each other, gosh, for a number of years already, I think, since you started lobbying.
13 years.
Yeah, it's about then. Wow, time flies by, and you still look the same.
Yeah, you look the same.
Anyway, we definitely facing challenging times right now. We all had to pivot pretty much overnight. So I guess one of my first questions to you is, how have your members adapted to COVID-19?
Well, it's actually a very rapid transition for our members because they never closed. So we represent the retail grocery industry and the food suppliers, as well as everyone that supports those businesses. And sort of overnight, we had to come up with ways to make our employees and our customers safe. So at the retail level, we installed sneeze guards and we provided protective equipment. We increased our sanitation efforts. We put in procedures to allow for social distancing of the customers. And in many cases, we had to reduce our store hours in order to maintain all of the activities that I just mentioned, because it does take additional staffing to make sure that the store is a safe environment. From the supplier level, a lot of our members have had to pivot to a more direct to consumer model because they didn't have the tourism market to sell products to anymore, and they didn't have the restaurant market to sell as much product to. So we've been, working with the governor and on many different subgroups, along with you, Sherry, and many others, trying to come up with a path forward where everyone can be safe, but also business can start to resume and people can get their livelihoods back. I know a lot of our members have had to lay off and furlough employees. And some of our smaller members have actually gone out of business. So, we try to stay positive, but it is an urgent matter to get the economy up and running again and allow people to provide for themselves.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more, as we all partnered with UHERO on that survey, and it showed that 1 in 4 businesses will need to shut their doors if they don't get additional relief in addition to the federal loans. So there's some urgent and some immediate needs from our government to help support businesses, especially the local and small ones, so that they can sustain their operations and hopefully resume operations once we do open our doors and turn on our lights. But glad to hear some of your members have been able to stay in business and continue operations. And you're also definitely a vital line to feeding, those in need right now, and it's been growing. So thank you for all the work that you're doing as well. What has your because of this whole COVID situation, what kind of lessons have your members learned, and what are they doing to address those lessons and finding solutions?
So a lot of our members have been actively involved with the Hawaii Food Bank in supporting local food products and donating a tremendous amount of product to help feed hungry families in Hawaii. And it's been really heartwarming to see them reach out to the community and provide a vital need for a lot of these families that have been affected by our 37% unemployment rate. And it's been really something we couldn't have predicted, to see so many people lined up for food at the food bank, and it's been great to see our members be a part of the solution.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and that's what inspired 1808 was the humanity that's been coming out of the situation, and the businesses also stepping up to provide to the community. Even if some of these businesses are hurting as well, they are still donating products and resources to the front line. And so it's definitely been inspiring. And I think that's what inspires us at the Chamber to do more to support our business community. And I'm sure HFIA as well. So the next question is, what kind of changes or creative initiatives is the food industry putting into place in order to reopen?
Well, we've, and at the very beginning, because we never closed really, we had put into place a lot of procedures to help keep people safe and to keep our employees safe. So we have increased a focus on personal protective equipment, on sanitation, and on social distancing. And we have really in-depth protocols on what are the best practices for each individual industry to keep food safe and to keep the in which people are shopping very safe as well.
Yeah, so they definitely had to adjust overnight, like you mentioned earlier. Whereas some other industries, even ours, we don't go back to the office until beginning of June. At least we had some lead time to prepare. And that's why it's critical that we get that plan, right? The phased in approach, and which industries can open so that business have lead time to prepare, especially with this new safety element involved in the work environment. Did you find that there was a shortage of PPEs though? Because there was a mad rush for this, right?
Yeah, so there was a little bit of mixed messaging on the federal level about that at the very beginning of the crisis, where they told people that were not healthcare professionals to not wear PPE because of the shortage of masks. But that's really been a kind of a dramatic turnaround now, where everyone is required to wear a mask, a cloth mask, and so that was kind of an easy solution that maybe we could have done earlier if the federal government had put that initiative out there. But we did have to scramble rather rapidly on the mask issue, because there's definitely a shortage of available options. But the community really, stepped up and started sewing masks and providing masks to the general public, because it's illegal to enter a business now without wearing a mask for the general public, which we're happy is a law, because it does protect our employees and it protects everyone. So we're supportive of wearing masks. And another thing that we've been dealing with is the shortage of hand sanitizers. We've been really excited to see some of our own members actually developing hand sanitizer locally. So that's been really wonderful to see the collaboration between our members on that, and to see the local liquor manufacturers stepping up to the plate and providing a solution to that problem as well.
Definitely, yeah. Our local manufacturers have been heroes in turning their business plan overnight into providing support for the broader community. So I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
Moving forward, what kind of support do you think your members will need, whether it's government or other type of support, to continue their operations and hopefully be sustainable?
One of the things we asked for very early on, which maybe people would be surprised for, is we asked for childcare. And the reason for that is that most people would have gotten their childcare from the public schools. And many workers have children. So it's difficult to fully staff an operation when a lot of employees have children at home, and the type of work that's required of them actually does require them to leave their home. which is the case for the food industry. So we have been having a difficulty with staffing because of childcare. And so we are really supportive of getting funding for childcare and increasing the availability and opportunity and funding for childcare, because we think that's really an essential part of opening the economy further, and of being able to realistically staff businesses. So we're very supportive of efforts to fund and expand access to childcare. The other thing that we've asked for is increased access to PPE. You know, each individual person shopping for their own PPE isn't the most effective system. If the state could provide a way to allow all essential workers to have access to some sort of pool of PPE, that would be very helpful. The same goes for hand sanitizers, other items where there's a shortage of nationally. That would all be very helpful. Any type of rent relief would be really fantastic as well, from the state level or the county level. Any type of forgiveness on GET taxes would be really nice. On property taxes would be really helpful, because a lot of these businesses have been forced to close. They have no income, but then they're still having to pay rent. I know especially in Waikiki, it's a big problem because there aren't very many people in Waikiki right now. And so the businesses aren't really able to operate, and the rent is very high. So those are issues that we would love to see some support on.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Those are on our list as well. Hopefully we can start checking them off, right? That they are granted, but that's our role as advocacy organizations, right? HFIA, Chamber, as well as the other organizations that we work with. So I have one final question. You know, once we get back to business, what lessons will you personally take away from this entire experience?
Well, I think that it really shows the resiliency in our community and the love that people have for each other, because a lot of times I would be talking to grocers and they would say, oh, I've got to help out, you know, my suppliers. They've supported me forever, and it's my turn to support them now and find a way to help them survive this crisis, because they knew how hard it would be for them without being able to sell to the hotels and the restaurants, and just thinking of creative ways to promote local products and manufacturers that were really struggling through the grocery channel. That was really exciting and heartening to see people really desire to reach out and help their fellow community members and put them first and be interested in their survival, because they have had a relationship for so long, and everyone realizes that if we stick together, then we can survive the crisis. So that's been really nice to see.
Yep, absolutely. And the support for the front line. We often think about the healthcare industry, but it's also the grocery clerks, sanitation workers. You know, there's a lot more of us on the front line. So definitely agree with you and on this lesson learned. And I think we're going to see more of that, hopefully, more partnerships, more collaborations moving forward.
Yeah.
But Lauren, thank you for your time. You know, I always enjoy talking with you as well as working with you. And
Thank you.
Yeah. And I know there's going to be a lot of work ahead of us, but, you know, we take these as opportunities, right, to help shape as what they say, the path forward for Hawaii.
Right.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you for joining us for We Are 10808.
Thank you so much, Sherry.